this video we're going to show you how to install the front brakes on a 2012 Hyundai Sonata. So we got a 13/16 socket. We're going to zip these lug nuts off, right Rich?
Nice and easy.
Rich is the new Steve today.
It should take about 4.5 hours.
Yeah, okay.
So we got our 2012 Sonata here. We're going to change the rotor and the brake pads. We got a 14 millimeter for the caliper bolts right here. Crack these loose. Let's get the other one. Okay, we'll get these two off. Okay, we've got our little pry bar. We're gonna just roll the caliper back a little bit, and we're gonna get in between the piston here and the brake pad, and we're going to collapse the piston. And it's moving pretty good. And we're going to get in between the brake pad now and the rotor. And sometimes these are seized and these are seized. Look at them. And I like to pry on the pad, just gives an even press on the piston. But sometimes the pads are frozen in the holder, in the bracket here. So it looks like we're pretty close to being, there we go.
You can hear it going in.
Yeah. Okay, we're collapsed now. So now we can roll the rest of the caliper off, and we'll sit it up on the top for now. And we've got the piston, a little bit of debris in here. We got the piston completely collapsed, and the boot looks good, which is what you need to inspect to make sure the boot's good. If the boot is torn, you should really get rid of the caliper, because at some point it's going to seize up on you. So we'll sit this up here for now. Now the bolts for the bracket are here and here, and there's 17 millimeters. Hopefully I can crack them loose with a 3/8. If not, we'll get the 1/2-inch drive ratchet set up. The other one. Okay, I'm gonna get this bolt out, and we'll get the top one out. Just hold the bracket, wiggle it around, it makes the bolt come out a little easier. Okay, so we get this one off, and we've got the pads off, and you can look at the brake pads, they're pretty thin right here. So we got to check out, now this one, our caliper pin is frozen, and this one's working, and this is why we've got the pad real thin here, and it's opposite, so how thin it is here and it's thin here, so we got to loosen up this caliper pin and get that straightened out. We're gonna bang the rotor and get this off right now. I'm just gonna give the rotor a little smack. There's no bolts that hold the rotor on this particular one. They may have had them at some point, but they didn't put them back on. So looks like the bolts might have broke at one time, but that's okay. So we'll notice use this a little bit more, put it together. We're gonna put the grease around the boot here that we normally do. And let's go free up that caliper pin. I'm gonna just bang our brake pads out of these holders here. And got this one out. We got these individual clips. We'll take these off for now. We want to get this over to the vise, and we're going to put this in the vise and try and get this caliper pin out. So we've got our brake rotors off, and we showed you in multiple videos. We spray them with brake clean, wipe them down on both sides of the surface. These have all been prepped for the job right now. Okay, so it's good that moved, but this thing is pretty
tight.
Pretty tight, so it's difficult to try and get penetrating all in here. I'm gonna get a little screwdriver and pull up on this boot and spray some lube in there and see if we can get it to free up. Okay, we're pulling up on the boot. Try and soak this with some oil in here. You know, as you're twisting, you're trying to pull back on it so that it starts to come out. It's starting to come.
That one's in there.
I just gotta make sure it ain't all pitted to shit, so because if it is, you don't really want to use it. We're gonna wire wheel it, put the synthetic grease on it. Okay, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming out.
And that oil helped us.
Yeah, it's out in there. Yeah, these typically should pull up pretty easily for you.
Yeah, it's got the little rubber boot on the end, and that could have been, you know, holding us a little too. So, in the pin, we're just gonna wire wheel this up. This pin's moving in and out.
There you go.
So that one's good. So let's wire wheel this up, and then we're gonna go put some synthetic grease on it. Look at the pin, it's not all pitted, so we'll be able to load this thing up with the synthetic grease, and this thing's gonna work smooth. Okay, so we got our grease for our pin. Might as well get these all done. I like to take a little blob of this and, you know, get it into the boot so that as you're pressing it down, how fast this stuff we use this stuff.
I know.
Crazy. I feel like I just got these. I bought a case of them because we go through it so much.
You buy the Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll put a link to this lube in the description for you guys over on Amazon.
Okay, let's get a little more in there if we can. Sometimes when you put a lot in there, it pushes back, which is good. So, let's get this one going. Okay, put this one in there. Okay, that's good. All right, let's put our clips on. So we've got a file here, and we want to file the seat of this. Get any loose rust off, and then we hit it with the wire brush. This is critical to get this step done, because if the bar has got some rust and it's swollen, it's going to tighten up your brake pads from sliding, and that's going to make them stick and wear funny. So you want to make sure that this is clean. The wide brush, hit them with that after. Okay, I get that there. We've got our 2 new clips. Right here, they're identical. So plug our clips in. Make sure that they're down and that they're flush. You look at the side, see how they're down and flush? Okay, so same thing with this one. Okay, get those down. Okay, then we're going to put some brake caliper lube in here. Over here. We've got our brake pad, so we've got the one that we took off, and this one's got the mark where the piston was, so you know that's the one with the clip that goes on the inside. That's going to be this side. So we're going to try and seat these down right now. That one in. Try not to get anything on the brake pads, or as little as you can. Sometimes you can put these in like this on an angle, and then you can twist the brake pad down into place. Okay. All right, so these are loaded. Of course, my other one fell out because it just has to. Okay. All right, so caliper bracket's all loaded. It's all ready to go.
Good. So right now Steve put a little nemesis on the hub right here, and that'll help to get the brake rotor back off next time you need to do a brake job.
And the wheel as well rides on this, so the aluminum wheels a lot of times really hang up on these. So if you get it flat and you're trying to take it off, we always know to seize these up. So we've got our rotors already prepped and clean. We've got our caliper bracket cleaned and loaded. We're going to slip the rotor on, put a lug nut on, and then get the brake bracket on, and then we're going to put some more lubricant on the boot, on the caliper, and then we'll start our reassembly. So we've got our brake rotor cleaned, and we're going to get the lug nuts on. I just like to do this to hold the rotor on. So we tighten up the lug nuts just so we can get the rotor. Yeah, I like it to get it sucked down. It's a little easier. And I'll put my caliper. So I got my caliper bracket all loaded. We've got our lubricant on there for our brake pads. Our brake pads are on. We had the frozen pin we lubed up, cleaned that up. So these are all free now. You can see them moving. And we've got all of our bolts never seized. I'm going to start our reassembly. So I put it on, I try and squish the pads in, make sure they're staying on good. And I get my bolt in here to align it. Find the hole, there it is. So I get this one started, and I'll thread in as much as I can with my fingers while it's easy. And we'll get going on this top one. We'll get the same procedure here. That one in there. You can wiggle the bracket around a little bit so that you can get it to start. I'm going to try and tighten as much as I can with my fingers. All right, let's we'll get the ratchet and get that going. So we're tightening our 17. And why am I not using my electric ratchet? I don't know, but I'm not right now. Just snug that one, then I'm gonna get this bottom one snug. Tighten this one right up. That tight. Okay, we got that one tight. Now we're going back to our 14. That's a 17 millimeter, and we're gonna set up a caliper here up on top, and we gotta lube the boot. So we're gonna go get the grease and lube this caliper.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so we're lubing the boot up here. We want this moist. When they dry rot, they split, and then you get debris in here, and it seizes up your piston. So I usually take a little bit of it, I put it on the back side where the brake pad's going to be running, so that'll hit here and here, and then I've got this side here that's going to hit the inside of the pad. Just keeps a little quiet. We've already collapsed our piston, so this is going to slide right on, and we've already gone ahead and never seized our bolts, threads. So we can catch the top one in. Catch the bottom one here. Tighten these up. Okay, get that one tight. Okay, tight and tight. All right, so we've got our 2/17s tight, the caliper bolt is tight, we sat our rotor on, and it's going to be the same procedure on the other side. You'll pump up the brake pedal, make sure your pedal's firm, and that'll do it.